Welcome back, everyone. Hi, if you're new, my name is Tori, and today I'm going to take you all through some of the books that I am currently reading. So I have 3 books to share with you. I don't think this is like the entirety of my March TBR. There are about 3 other books that I really do want to make my way through this month aside from these, but these are the ones that are on rotation right now. So the first book that I'm reading is Rosewater, and this is by Tade Thompson. This has been on my TBR for a long time, and so I'm really happy that I am finally now diving into this book. I am only on chapter 2. I'm on chapter 2, but I am still already very intrigued by what is happening right now. We're following this main character named Carl, and he lives in the town of Rosewater. And Rosewater, this is so crazy, Rosewater is surrounding this biodome. They describe it as a donut, and the biodome is in the center of the donut, it sounds like. And once every year, this biodome opens and releases these healing things into the air. And so the book is starting off on opening day when the biodome finally opens up again, and Rosewater residents kind of gravitate toward the dome and start healing themselves. It's really weird so far, and there's also a lot of mystery surrounding it already, so I'm excited to see how the story unfolds and just where everything goes from here. But right now, so far so good. And I am really in love with the way that Tade Thompson is telling the story. His writing is very just to the point, and I love it so much. It really, I think, adds to the mystery of what is going on right now. The next book that I am currently reading, oh my God, this is so heavy. This is really heavy. This is the Walking Dead Compendium, and The Walking Dead was created by Robert Kirkman, but this compendium includes Charlie Adlard, Tony Moore, and Cliff Rathburn. And this compendium is massive, and it contains issues 1 through 48 of The Walking Dead. And I'm not far in at all. I'm still on chapter 1, which is Days Gone By. And some of you probably know already, The Walking Dead is one of my favorite shows of all time, but I have never read the comic books, the graphic novels. I'm actually not sure what they're described as. So I'm really excited to finally be diving into this. So I just got to the part in here where Rick meets Glenn for the first time, and I just had the biggest smile on my face. It is playing out just like the first episode. I love it so much. But I have heard that Daryl, who's my favorite character on The Walking Dead, Daryl is not in the comic books. So I'm interested to see how the relationships play out and just what the dynamic is like without having a Daryl. That should be really weird, but I'm so happy that I have this now. And then finally, the last book that I am making my way through is what is this? God. House of Earth and Blood, and this is the first book in the Crescent City series, and this is by Sarah J. Maas. This is her first adult fantasy series. I have tried to read Sarah J. Maas a few times already. I picked up the Throne of Glass series, the first book in the series, which is Throne of Glass. Tried to read that. That didn't work. And then a couple of years later, I tried to read the Court of Thorns and Roses series. I have so many thoughts about that series. I only tried to get through the first book, so I can't speak to the entire thing, but I just remember the main character in that story was annoying me so much because she was seriously doing the opposite of everything all of the other characters were telling her not to do. And it felt like Sarah J. Maas was doing that just for the sake of advancing the plot, and it just felt lazy, and I was not a fan, so I could not get through that first book. So anyways, I have now DNF'd 2 Sarah J. Maas series, but my friend recently put me onto this tome of a novel, and I was definitely intrigued by the synopsis and intrigued by the fact that this is her first adult novel. So I started reading this yesterday and got a couple of chapters in. I'm seriously on chapter 2, at the end of chapter 2. And what I am noticing so far is that this is a little confusing. Sarah J. Maas, her world building, she does it so quickly. And to be perfectly honest with you, I got very lost just in chapter 1 because in that short span of time, she is name dropping people and places and titles and just all kind of stuff. And it was just really throwing me off. And I don't know if that's because that it is kind of info dumpy so far, or maybe it's just been a while since I have actually read a high fantasy, epic fantasy series. I think the last like high fantasy book I read was The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. So I mean, it's been a minute, and that could be what's throwing me off, and I have to like readjust to be back in that fantasy mindset. But there's a lot going on so far. We're following this main character named Bryce Quinlan, and she is half human, half something else that I'm blanking on right now. And the book really kicks off when friends that are close to Bryce are murdered. I actually have not gotten to that part in the story yet, but that is in the synopsis. Sarah J. Maas's actual writing doesn't do anything for me. It just feels very underwhelming, but I can recognize the fact that she's a good storyteller, and so I think that's what's keeping me interested in it, and it feels like that this is genuinely going somewhere, so we'll see what happens. So that is it for me, you guys. Those are the books that that's painful. These are the books that I am currently reading. Let me know down in the comments what books you are currently making your way through. If you have read any of these, if you have already read Crescent City, I want to hear about it. But yeah, thank you all so much, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.